Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everybody who's possibly listening, maybe listening, is over on Facebook or is over on YouTube. So this is episode 4. Episode 4? Need to unmute yourself, dear. You're muted. Unmute yourself.
I don't know.
There you go. Hey?
I don't know. I was going to say 5.
I think is it 4? It's 4. All right. Yeah, I don't know. But number 4 of the Rearview Mirror, which is the Dark Mirror radio show's little brother, done by myself and a very, very bored, aggressive-looking Taylor there. She's looking like, oh, gruff. She's like a butch wibbly pig, isn't she? Look at her. Look. Very, very tired, Taylor. Where is Junior Wibbly Pig? My grandson. Is he doing all right?
Puked everywhere. He's all right.
Okay. So, as you may or may not know, anybody who's watching this, the little brother of the Dark Mirror radio show is we do top 10 lists, and we also talk about some of the stuff that's hit in the news in regards to UFOs and paranormal. The only thing I found noteworthy so far this week, because don't worry, we'll get there. We'll get there, Taylor. You nod off. I'll nudge you when it's time. All right. Was some round UFOs that have apparently been seen around the world. So what I'm going to do is, if I can find the flipping link for it, I will post it up in the chat room there for you guys at home to make of it what you will. Just bear with me. Where did I? No, that's the wrong chat. That's help if I look at the correct chat. Right, here we are. Right, so if I copy this, copy. Now I come back over to here. I come into the chat room and I will post that up there. There you go. That is the link to the UFO video that we've been talking about. I sent it to Taylor.
Pokemon's on Pokemon Go at the moment.
Sorry?
There's a bunch of new Pokemons on Pokemon Go and they've all come out tonight.
Well, I'm so sorry. You can go Pokemon.
Oh, I'm telling you.
This is what happens when you've only woken up half an hour ago. Look. Yeah. F ready and ready there. I'll have a look at the new Pokemon after the show. Thank you for telling me. Yes, in the chat. In the chat there is a link to a video up on YouTube, and it's hi Helen, and it's a video that I found, and it says it's the clearest UFOs so far, but as Taylor pointed out, the first 3 videos seem to be all the same, although they're supposed to be from different countries. And Pokemon is more important. Well, apparently yes. I mean, bugger this. But as you go into the video and watch towards the end, there's different ones. Make of it what you will. There's a couple of bits in there that have made me go, And this particular place that makes these videos, normally Taylor and I look at their videos and go, oh my God, that's faker than the entire cast of Towie's Tan, you know? But you've been, hang on, Taylor.
Can't help it. I'm sorry.
She was up all night with Littleton, and then she had a snooze because she's still up in London at the moment, and she woke up half an hour ago. So she needs a nap to get over her post-sleep nap. Don't you? Do you need a nap? Okay, so without further ado, I've posted the link up for the video. Have a look at it. Make of it what you will, and let me know. Just send me a message on the Dark Mirror page. Okay. So this week's top 10s. What are we going to do first, boys and girls? Shall we do recently discovered awesome animal abilities, or the strangest theories about mysterious occurrences? What would you like to do, Taily Chew?
Well, the one that I have open at the moment is recently discovered awesome animal abilities.
Okay then, well, let's have a look. Right, well, this is in at number 10. So this is at the bottom of the list there. So, and seeing as you found this list, over to you. You can read out number 10.
Dogs have a tremendous sense of smell. Their noses are up to 100 times more sensitive than those of people. Jeez. They can even smell radiation, or more specifically thermal radiation, or even heat when it's weak.
So they have thermal noses.
Yes.
Huh.
Their ability to sniff out the body heat of potential prey serves them well when they develop impaired sight, hearing, or smell. Because they're being able to detect body heat with their nose enables them to hunt even when their senses aren't as sharp as they used to be.
Ethologist.
Ethologist, thank you. Mac Beckoff, Professor
Emeritus.
Professor of a university in Colorado, is so impressed with this newly discovered ability that he characterizes it as nothing less than fascinating. I thought that everyone knew this. I
I didn't know animals could, that dogs could smell heat signatures.
I did. That's
really
why they
didn't know
sniff your crotch.
I thought they just smelled people's crutches because they're pervs. Either that, or they're smelling your crutches and going, dude, go and wash your balls.
Other animals, including black fire beetles, some snakes, and the common vampire bat, are known to use this ability, but no one suspected dogs could be capable of sniffing out body heat, other than me. The smooth skin on the tip of the dog's nose around the nostrils is both moist and colder than the ambient temperature. Moist. Aware of this fact, scientists wonder whether dogs might be able to sense heat with their noses. They put the method to the test by subjecting them to an MRI scan while dogs are exposed to objects emitting various levels of thermal radiation. Nice. The resulting data showed that yes, dogs can smell weak hotspots.
Do you know, I honestly didn't know that. I knew dogs could smell practically anything, and I knew that their noses were like super noses, and that they can virtually see scent trails, because dogs see in blue and yellow. A lot of people think it's black and white, but it's not. Dogs actually see in blue and yellow and not black and white.
Full color.
No, blue and yellow. They thought they could see in full color, but the majority of dogs actually see in blue and yellow. So, God, that'd be like 3D. That'd be like real life and 3D. Trippy. Very trippy. Why is there a nipple in the middle of your screen?
Don't ask questions.
Okay. Is that for Sheldon?
Don't ask questions.
Yeah, I never knew that dogs could see in heat. So they have a flair for a nose. Forward-looking for a nose. Right, okay, let's do number 9. I enjoyed that one. Right. Oh, I got to try and say this. Magento reception. Magento reception. Right. It's been known for some time that birds, salamanders, and frogs, among other animals, can navigate by sensing the planet's weak magnetic field. And yeah, that's true. That's how birds manage to fly south and always go back to the same place. The sense that accounts for this ability is known as a magento reception.
Magneto.
No, because there's no, it's magento. If it was magneto, it'd be M-A-G-N. It's not, it's M-A-G-E-N.
That's stupid. I think we should use my word.
Magento reception. Dogs, it is Scotty, I have a whole bag of shush with your name on it. It has been found also possesses this sense. So dogs have got this sense, just as has been long suspected. Although it's unclear how canines are able to detect the Earth's magnetic field, it's now known that they do. I'm really quite impressed with the data, biologist Catherine Noman said. Well, I'd be quite impressed with it too. Dogs use this ability to scout out new paths through unfamiliar territory, which helps them to hunt. and their magenta reception may help them to perform other tasks as well. Further research is needed concerning this amazing discovery. It's a safe bet to predict that it will soon be forthcoming, and I'll bet you that'll be used in, I'd say, military tech and search and rescue tech. What about you? I think it's also, I think some humans, hi Andy, you all right? I think some humans have got it as well. Because, you know, like when you guys were kids and we just take ourselves off into the middle of Dartmoor and get lost. And I'd always manage to find my way back out. As for some reason, before we started off, I'd remember where something is. And wherever I was driving, which didn't matter which direction I was facing, I remembered where that was, and I could pace where it was behind or to the side or in front of me. So I don't know if that's something like it.
When Sheldon went out drinking when he was younger, he walked to like he doesn't even know where, and he got home by the itch in his balls.
I'm sorry, can you say that one again for everybody?
So if he was like, oh, left or right, like whatever he walked towards, if his ball itched, he'd just go that way.
So your partner's bollocks are his
It was
built-in.
either Sheldon or Calvin. It was one of the two.
I think I remember his dad talking about that story, and I think it was Sheldon. Your other half's testicles, one of them is a compass and points magnetic north. So when he wants to go left or right, his nut will go, "Oi, mate, say Sheldon, mate, this way," and nudges him in the right direction.
Yeah.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Animals have inbuilt sensitivity and inbuilt senses like magenta reception, which is the way to find their way home, and other people have magnetic sensitive bars. You could talk about number 7. I'm just going to completely gloss over Sheldon's. How the hell does he find magnetic north then? Does he sit there and just twiddle around for a bit until he goes, oh, that way?
No, his ball just points towards it. Just
read number 7 out.
And he follows it. Oxygen-less survival. It's tiny. Its home is the salmon. What? In the muscle of which the parasite lives.
Oxygenless survival.
I know. I read that.
Sorry, no, your microphone's a little bit.
Oxygen-less survival.
Okay.
It's tiny. Its home is the salmon in the muscle. Let me speak.
Iron balls.
Its home is the salmon in the muscle of which the parasite lives. Neither its size nor its abode is what's most awesome about the animal, though. It's able. What's this to do with dogs?
There's
nothing to do with dogs on this.
This is nothing to do with dogs. It is how a creature can live in an oxygenless environment.
But this is supposed to be to do with dogs.
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought I picked a dog one.
Recently discovered awesome animal. Would you like me to read it?
Okay, I'm on it.
Okay, you're on it like chronic, yes.
Yeah. It's able to get along just fine without the element vital to the lives of every plant and animal on the planet, except itself. The 10-celled salmon.
Hang on, where are we? So look, 10-celled. Henaguya salmonicola. Henaguya. So hang on, I'm going to put this in the chat room. Henaguya Hanagaya salmonicola. Right, hang on. I have no idea if I said this right. Oh, by the way, Andy says iron balls.
So, speaking of that, Wayne taught me why they say freeze the brass balls off a monkey.
Yeah.
Do you know why they say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the monkey was the plate that they used to tower the cannonballs up on ships. And if it got cold enough to buckle the brass plate, the cannonballs would fall off. That's where the phrase "freeze the balls off a brass monkey" comes from. Yeah. There you go. That's what it is. A Heneguia salminicola. Heneguia salminicola. Right. Okay. Carry on.
Is the only animal known to breathe without oxygen. One of many people astonished by H. salminicola's ability is Dorothy Hutchin, a zoologist at Israel's Tel Aviv University. I'm almost certain I said that right. Who declared aerobic respiration is a major source of energy, and yet we found an animal that gives up this crucial pathway. The absence of
Mitochondria.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I did science as well. DNA is the parasite structure. In the parasite structure indicates it doesn't need the genes required for respiration. Because these genes are contained in this portion of the DNA. Doesn't make sense.
Just for anybody watching this and going, what you've got to remember is Taylor does have dyslexia, quite bad.
For anybody watching this and going, this is about the 4th episode of the Rearview Mirror and like the 100th episode of the Dark Mirror Show, you should know by now that I have dyslexia, and if you don't, just leave.
And also lack of sleep as well.
Although it's not known how the parasite accomplishes this unique feat, Hutchin says that it's possible that H. salminicola somehow siphons the energy from its host cells. It's also possible, the zoologist says, that the parasite may have a different type of respiration, such as oxygen-free breathing. In either case, Hutchin said it is generally thought that during evolution, organisms become more and more complex, and that simple single-cell called for few-celled organisms are the ancestors of complex organisms. But here, right before us, is an animal whose evolutionary progress is the opposite.
Right. What is another thing with that? There have been, do you know those, what they're called?
That was a lot of words.
Carpet bears. Those weird looking microscopic things. And they got 4 legs and I think they're called carpet bears. They've been found on the outside of the space station, the International Space Station. And there's things that live on the outside of the International Space Station. So there again is things living in an oxygen-free environment. You're watching somebody stroking a pussy.
A cat, yes.
Well, anyway, let's talk about snakes, shall we? The lasso locomotion. Some snakes have exhibited a bizarre but fascinating ability to climb trees using a method called lasso locomotion. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it is quite fascinating. They sort of wrap themselves around the tree, and then they do the top half of their body up, and then wrap that bit around the tree, and then the bottom bit unwinds and then goes up, and they go like that. The brown snakes, which were brought from Australia, Papua New Guinea, and the Pacific Islands by cargo ships back in the days of World War II, have become more nuisances in Guam, where the predatory reptiles have wiped out 10 indigenous species of birds. To fight back, local inhabitants... Sorry?
Savage.
To fight back, local inhabitants on the island have come up with some creative tactics, including airdropping drug-filled mice. Just drug-filled mice.
Finley won't wake up.
Finley won't wake up.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear, you're going to be in for a treat
you
tonight.
See him?
Go on then. Let's show everybody out there. Finley, Taylor's son and my grandson. Oh, and my missus is even waddling over here very fast to come see it. There he is. Passed out. At least he's got some clothes on and isn't sunbathing going, oh girl, like he was before.
It's done.
He looks just like his dad.
Now he sleeps.
Bless him.
There you go, Finley. And he's
Well,
shut up quite.
I've got milk here, so I don't mind if you leave more if you think it's up to you.
So, sorry?
You?
I'm just talking to Tanya. It's
Right.
up to you.
Anyway, where was I?
If he wakes up, I'll
Yeah.
message him.
Airdropping drug-filled mice, which, quite frankly, can you imagine just seeing a load of mice completely off their face? For the snakes to nibble on, and then using dogs to hunt down the snakes. But surely, if the snakes ate drug-filled mice, and then the dogs hunted the snakes, would that mean that the dogs bit the snakes, and then they got, well, basically shit-faced bloodhounds?
Yes.
Birds are especially susceptible to attack because the brown snake lives in trees. To protect the birds, Colorado State University ecologists Julie Savage and Tom Siebert recommended that smooth metal poles be installed at the base of bird boxes. The snakes wouldn't be able to climb such smooth surfaces, and the birds could be safe. The snakes surprised them, though. An on-site video cameras caught the predators winding their bodies about the poles like lassos and then wiggling at the poles. Their response was, we just kind of looked at each other in shock. A bit like that. I mean, this wasn't something a snake was supposed to be able to do. And this recently discovered ability as a fifth means of snake motivity. Why can't they put normal words on this? Lasso locomotion to the four already identified. Slithering, rectilinear, lateral, and concertina, and now lasso. How I managed to get there without spitting my teeth out, I have no idea, but there we go. What do you make of that then?
It's creepy.
Have you ever seen it? I've seen them on palm trees, and they literally start at the bottom and then wind round it a couple of coils, and then they'll grip with one of the coils, and then the rest of them come up.
Yeah.
That's right. And then they wrap it around again, and then it goes up, wraps a coil, and this one unravels, and it goes like that. Bizarre. Right, you can do the next one because this is right up your street. This is animal empathy. Hang on.
Like many other animals.
Wayne's here. He says, "Good evening."
Oh, hello. Like many other animals, rodents are social. They live in groups and they depend upon one another for their survival. But do they also feel each other's pain? Can they empathize? Shush while I'm talking. That's what a team of researchers wanted to know. Defining empathy as the ability to understand what other individuals in the group, or
conspecifics.
Yes, as science calls them, feel and to share that feeling. The researchers set out to find out. They divided their mousy subjects into 3 groups, each of which would be subjected to different sorts of stress. One group had their tails pinched. The second group was injected with formalin.
That's not
and the
nice.
third was anesthetized.
That's really not nice.
They test mice in this study could reliably determine that the treated mouse was in a pain state using visual cues. The team's article in the Brain and Behavior Journal stated, as the result of empathy.
Never even knew there was such a thing. The Brain and Behavior Journal. I've heard of Pinky and the Brain.
I said Brian. As a result of empathizing with the mice in pain, the other mice, the cage mates, of the distressed animals showed empathic behavior towards the victim by exhibiting no heightened interest in anesthetized. Jesus, Dad.
Do you know what? They need to reword this. Right, hang on, let's have a look. As a result of empathizing with the mice in pain, other mice, the cage mates of the distressed animals, showed empathetic behavior towards the victims by exhibiting no heightened interest in anesthetized conspecifics. Basically, they didn't show any extra interest in the ones that have been knocked out, or ones with swollen limbs, but they showed interest in the formalin injected mice. It was less clear whether stranger mice experience empathy for the distressed mice. So basically what they're saying is, if you get a group of animals who like, people say that dogs and cats don't have any feelings. They do. You know yourselves, if you've got a pet any description, hopefully one that's not in the fish tank like the ones behind me, then you know that they know when you're upset, especially when you're really upset, and they'll come up to you and they shut their noses and stuff.
If you kick a dog, it's going to yelp, isn't it?
I'd bloody yelp if you kicked me.
No, but what I'm saying is, people are like, "Oh no, animals don't feel feelings. Dogs don't feel feelings." Like that guy that we met at the pub, idiot. If you kick a dog, it's going to yelp.
Yeah,
and
any other dogs around it are going to be like, any other dogs around it are going to be like, "Oh, what's the matter?" In doggy language.
Well, you've seen videos of like when one dog is being, I know it's horrible videos, but if a dog is being abused, the dogs around it get scared of the person that's abusing.
Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, I think most domestic and any animal that goes in a group, pack, whatever you want.
Tonight's lottery is 10k a month for 30 years.
Yeah, I know. I'd love that. I'd absolutely kill for that. 10,000 a month for 30 years. There's been studies on wolves that have been found if that they will wait for the slowest wolf, and they'll wait for the slowest one or ones that are sick and wait for them to catch up with the pack before they go on. They don't leave them behind.
That's why, wolves have the slowest and the sick and the youngest in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, and the ones who are normally at the back are the pack leaders, because they make sure, as I say, no one gets left behind. Right. Let's see if we can read some of this without stupidly long words. Right. So, in at number 5, we have new animal abilities that have just been recently discovered. Shape-shifting. There's a frog called the Mutable rain frog, and to be honest,
he looks like a Pac-Man frog.
He does. He's just this brown frog with eyes that look like the cosmos. That's the only way to describe it.
He looks like the frogs from Futurama.
Yeah, the hypno frog. You know, when his eyes go. That's what he looks like, except he's brown.
Or anyway, is it the Simpsons or Futurama?
Futurama. Right. The mutable rain frog was first discovered in 2006 in the rainforest of Ecuador. And this frog's awesome ability to shift its shape wasn't known until some years later, when a second of its species was found. And its ability to change the texture of its skin from rough and spiny to smooth in only minutes made one researcher, in catching the frog for a photograph, thought she grabbed the wrong specimen. Later, intending to return it to its natural habitat, the researchers placed moss in its container, and when they looked in on the frog after a while, it reverted back to rough skin. A series of photographs were taken that show this rain frog at various segments of time: 90 seconds, 150 seconds, 180 seconds, 270 and 330 seconds. And within 3 minutes, it could be mistaken for a different frog. And within 5.5 minutes, it probably would be. These scientists were even more amazed when a second species of frog, the Sobetis robber frog, these names, Sobetes, Sobet or Sobetes robber frog, was found to have the same astonishing ability. Now researchers think many other amphibian species may be able to shift their shapes as well. It's not really shape-shifting, is it? It's just smoothing its skin out. Would you call it shape-shifting?
It's the same as lizards can change colour.
Well, yeah,
Chameleons
can change their colour and stuff. Octopuses, squid, but I don't really. What are you waving at? Who are you waving at? Hello. Oh, was that Finley? Was that Finley? Hello, little Finley. Hello there. Hello, it's Shouty Grandad. Hello. I'm called Shouty Grandad because when he's tired, they go, "Come on, Grandad," and I'm like, "Finley," and tickle him and wake him up. So yeah, would you call that shape shifting?
Well, it changes its shape.
Knobbly skin to smooth skin. I bet there's some men out there would wish they could do that.
I was gonna say, can you do that?
Use new and improved frog gel. Smooth it away. Sorry?
Frog spawn.
It's not really shape shifting. Shape shifting is morphing into something else. All that's doing is smoothing its skin out.
Yeah, but can you do that?
Watch.
Wow. In about 3 minutes, he'll be totally unrecognizable.
No worries, hang on. No worries, mate. Stay the night to Andy. He's off to bed because he's unfortunately got to be up at work. No worries, mate. If you want to finish listening to it, you always just go on. It'll be up on Facebook later on tonight. Facebook? YouTube. It'll be on YouTube later tonight. Take it easy.
Mirror Facebook.
Whilst I remember, we have a young lady in here, and I've just got to find it, Helen Finnan, and she sent me a story. So I'm just trying to find it on here. Hang on. Where's Helen? There she is. Right now, in Yorkshire itself it's a bit like Somerset or Devon when you go to the moors and everything. But Yorkshire's known for black shucks, beasts, UFOs, everything. But this is a particular strange story, and this is one that was sent to me today by Helen. Don't know when it happened. I think it was a while ago, but she was on the M1 north between Rotherham and Barnsley. She was in the near side lane, and there was another car in the middle.
Oh, this is Helen that it happened to. Okay.
This Helen.
Yeah, no, I know. I didn't know what you meant.
It happened yesterday. Right. On the M1 between Rotherham and Barnsley, she was in the near side lane, and a car was in the middle that had been matching her speed. You know, like some twats do on the motorway. As she sped up, it sped up. When she slowed down, it slowed down. And they came up behind a lorry, and she dropped her speed so she could get over to the middle lane, and then she was behind this car. It was an Audi TT, and then she went into the fast lane to overtake it, and then so she's gone into the middle lane, gone behind this car, then gone into the fast lane, got past it, indicated, and pulled back into the middle lane. Now, as she indicated back into the lane after she passed it, and she glanced over to see what it was that was driving in a weird way. She indicated, checked her mirrors, and couldn't see any lights in the rearview mirror, in her side mirrors and rearview mirror. And she was like, "Oh," and moved across the middle lane and then back into the slow lane, and all the time checking, and the car had vanished. There was no slip roads, no off ramps, nothing. And the other weird thing was that her mate phoned her through the car system, and then she started to overtake and then was moving back. There was loads of static on the line and it went dead, but this car had completely vanished. So what do you make of that?
You went through a wormhole.
Well, I did message her and said check and see if there were any accidents on that particular stretch of the motorway and see if it involved an Audi TT. But I thought I'd bring that one up because it was different.
Oh, Bob's waking up.
So yes, any thoughts on that? Let us know. Right, where were we? Yeah, I've read about this one before, and it is odd. So over to you, young lady.
It's yellow or yellowish, and it resembles a plant. Sometimes, not sometimes, other times it looks like a mushroom. Still other times it might be mistaken for, well, mucus. It's a mystery. Scientists have no idea yet whether the blob was whatever it is called at present is an animal or a fungus. The bizarre life form was discovered in France at the Paris Zoological Park, looking like a fungus but acting like an animal. Hello. It also has some other awesome features, among which are 720 sexes, the ability to move without legs or wings, and the power to heal itself in 2 minutes if cut in half.
Right, so let's just have a look at that for a second. There's this yellow snot-like thing, which was discovered in a zoological park in France. So basically at a zoo in France, and it does look like a fungus, but how the hell did they discover that there are 720 sexes? When, for the life of me, looking at this picture, I can't see anything apart from something that looks like a cross between a bogey and broccoli, and it's bright yellow. 720 sexes. We have enough problems with half the people out there today going, I'm not a man, I'm not a woman, what am I? But 720 sexes, and it can move without legs or wings and can heal itself in 2 minutes if cut in half. What the flippity flip is? Hello, have we discovered something from another planet? Finley, what do you think? Oh, well, I don't know. I don't think. Who's that? There's people watching me. Oh, hello. No, I'm going to be shy. So yeah, what do you make of this? I wish I could show pictures in here. Hang on.
Help!
See if it'll let me copy the picture. You gonna let me copy the picture? Copy image. Right. You're gonna let me post it in here. Oh, it might do. Hang on. You gonna let me do that?
Huh?
No, it's not letting me paste it. Well, that's really peed me off now. Yeah, thing literally looks like a cross between broccoli and bright yellow.
I almost fell in. Oh.
Sorry, you almost fell in when he sneezed. Anyway, this particular zoo director, Bruno, a French zoo, and the director is the guy who named it the Blob, and apparently he's impressed with it. It has no brain, but is able to learn. It can find its way out of a maze to locate food, or bypass a line of salt. Well, that makes it sound like it's something to do with a slug, which it hates. When food awaits it beyond the salt barrier, the blob will find a way to get around the line of salt more quickly than it would have done otherwise. Such learning is impressive, but it's not all the blob you can do. If you merge two blobs, the one that has learned stuff will transmit its knowledge to the other. Okay. The Mysterious Blob is named after the alien in the science fiction horror movie The Blob with Steve McQueen. And just like the zoological blob, the movie Blob liked to eat so much it pretty much consumed everything its path in a small town. So yes, this blob thing doesn't like salt, can transmit its knowledge to other blobs, and this is. What do you make of that?
I think it's really cool.
I think it's really cool, but where do you reckon it came from?
Someone probably phlegmed into a thing of bacteria. You can't eat your hands, sir.
Okay, so we're talking about a brainless snot that can talk to other brainless snot, cut themselves in half, and heal again 2 minutes later, and give each other knowledge in French. Hello. I see Finley is sporting this year's latest number, the Burglar-esque.
And red socks.
And red socks and all. Awesome. Okay.
Look how tall he is.
Yeah. He's very. Woo! He went. Right.
I'm falling.
And this is what I was talking to you about. The thing in the picture is that type of carpet beetle thing that's found on the outside of the space station. So you can read that one out.
1 second. Sheldon!
Tardigrades. That's it.
Wake
Tardigrades.
up!
They look like well, they look like
He's chilling, but I think he's going to start.
I don't even know what the hell they look
I
like.
don't know
A
if he's
bean
gonna- 1 second.
face and claws. Hang on. 1 minute. Hang on.
Yeah. I'll just Dad, you start reading because he's getting changed, so he might start screaming. It's hard to mute myself.
Okay, right. So in at number 3 of these newly discovered superhuman powers that animals have, survival genes. Well, I've kind of thought everybody had those in them. Anyway, I shall begin. Despite their microscopic size, tardigrades are tough. These water bears, when you look at them, yeah, water bears, as they're better known, survive extremes that would kill other animals much larger than, I can't even talk tonight, and I haven't had any alcohol, larger than themselves, including us. And apparently their awesome survivability is owed to special survival genes. One species of the tardigrade, it's got an awesome name that I'm looking at, and I'm going, well, how the hell am I going to pronounce this? You know what? I'm just going to call it razzmatazz. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the chat room, and you guys can pronounce it amongst yourselves. All right, there you go. This particular breed of it, the Ramazotius varionatus, razzmatazz. That's it. That water bear is now known as razzmatazz. Are especially hardy. In fact, they're arguably the toughest and most resilient species found in the entire tardigrade clan. Some geneticist, a Japanese dude called Takeshi's Castle, and his castles at the University of Tokyo, and his colleagues at the University of Tokyo have discovered that one of the secrets of the water bears is that they have developed a special protein that enables their DNA to be protected from radiation damage. This geneticist is called Takikazu Kunieda. Takikazu Kunieda from the University of Tokyo. Extremophiles, they're also capable of surviving such extreme conditions as freezing, total dehydration, and even the vacuum of space. I mentioned that earlier. In fact, scientists successfully revived a tardigrade that had been frozen solid for more than 3 decades. A new record for this durable species. So basically, this poor little tiny thing, this water bear, had been frozen. He was a lollipop for 30 years, and they revived him, brought him back to life. It was once thought that tardigrades didn't develop these awesome abilities on their own, but that they had help. And geneticists at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill found out a certain percentage of the tardigrade genome comes from other organisms. That's weird, including plants, fungi, bacteria, and virus. That's right. And as a result of horizontal gene transfer. But apparently these Japanese geezers have gone now and suggested that the tardigrade's awesome survivability are proprietary rather than the consequence of gene transfer. Researchers believe tardigrades' abilities may have remarkable medical and genetic applications. That's what I said before. Things are going to be used for military and survival purposes.
Doesn't it look like a little pig thing?
Yeah. There's loads of them. So we did what?
Oink oink.
Oink oink. They're found everywhere. They're found in carpets. They're found in water. They're found in everywhere. And like I say, they've been found on the outside of the International Space Station. That's what I was talking about earlier. Those and cockroaches are the toughest things on the face of the earth, and I'm quite impressed at them being able to do that. But right, you want to do this one about taste in at number 2?
Super taste.
Sorry.
Super taste.
Super taste.
A taste bud is an amazing receptor. These clusters of specialized cells which detect the flavors of everything from vanilla ice cream to olives, some at the same time.
Depends what
May
you're doing.
not
Eh?
may not be as well understood as once thought. The taste buds of mice are revolutionizing the way scientists think about the sense of taste and the ability of taste buds to detect flavor. Sheldon's making meatballs.
So long as it's not one of his balls that can detect the magnetic energy lines of the Earth, and you'll be all right.
As I said, meatballs. That wasn't very specific. So, if we're lucky.
If you're trying to stab it on a plate and it goes, boing, and follow it.
Tastes are usually classified into 5 types: bittersweet, salty, sour, and umami.
Umami. I love
that. Yeah, I like the word. It just means like earthy and savory.
Savory.
Traditionally, scientists held that taste buds could detect only 1 or 2 types of flavor. And research showed that taste cells seem to be able to pick up only certain compounds. For example, such cells might detect sweet
Sucralose.
Yes, I almost
Sugar.
said sakura. Or bitter caffeine, but not
Sakura.
both.
Sakura is a flower.
But not both.
No.
But you can have sugar in a dark coffee and taste bitter and sweet.
This is very true. And salty caramel.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite popcorn is sweet and salty.
I like salty caramel.
For example, such cells. Sorry, my bad. Thanks to the taste buds of mice, this picture has become a lot more complex. I'll get this.
Neurophysiologist. Oh, flipping it. I'm going to read this bit. Neurophysiologist. Debagia Dutabanek. There you go. I'm not going to pronounce that again. Carry on. You're welcome.
I'll say it without the Indian accent, Dad.
It's the only way you can say it. Otherwise, it's Debagia Dutabanek. Debagia Dutabanek. That sounds better.
Oh, when neuropsychologists do back it up due to Bankic.
Yeah, so that you're always much better.
And colleagues removed certain taste cells from the taste buds of mice. The rodents' other taste cells responded to various flavors that were introduced to them. After the subject mice were presented with several tasty compounds, researchers discovered that the mice had a group of cells capable of sensing multiple chemicals across 2 different classes. To make matters still more complicated, the brain was also shown to affect the mouse's sense of taste without a key protein needed for these broadly tasting cells to relay information. The brain didn't receive the flavor message, and the mice would lap up bitter solutions despite the rodent's normal dislike of such taste. So if you take away, yeah, but we'll do that. If you take away our senses for bitter stuff, we're going to drink it, aren't we?
Huh.
It's like those miracle berries that you take one and you could drink lemon juice. It tastes like sugar.
I think what they're trying to say, though, is like with these ones, they thought we could only taste like that particular thing. But the mice, they can taste every single variant in between, whereas we can't.
All the different notes in the flavour.
Yeah.
Ah.
They could sit there and make Gordon Ramsay look, well, shit, basically.
I like Gordon Ramsay, but sometimes I feel like he needs to cut people some slack. Like, he's reacting to people's TikToks when they make food, and there's some people that try really hard, and he's just like, no, you're wrong. It's dirty. There's no need for it.
It's Gordon Ramsay with his fanny forehead. He's. I mean, I actually like the guy.
I like him.
He says as he finds it, but you know, he can be a bit of a twat sometimes. But so can we. But yeah, these mice are going to put his palate to shame.
Well, I'm actually really good at tasting stuff, aren't I? Do you remember Mum made those cookies with a pinch of salt? And I was like, oh, I can't eat these.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Disgusting.
I'm good with wine, red wine especially. I fall over a lot.
As Catherine Mendler, a neuropsychologist at the University of Buffalo in New York, points out, the sense of taste has survival value. Without the ability to taste foods, people would find meals much less palatable and might eat less, becoming malnourished. The sense of taste has another survivability function as well. Taste also helps people to avoid food that might be spoiled or toxic, since it is likely to taste unpleasant should it be sampled. The fact that taste works similar in mice and humans suggests that the sense of taste might be restored to people for those who lose it in the effects of chemotherapy.
You know what?
That's quite cool.
That is a good idea, because I mean, I've had, you know yourself, I've had chemotherapy twice, and it didn't kill my sense of taste, but it did dull it, and it dulled my sense of smell, and it made, wasn't it? It was the top of my hair. It made all this bugger off. That's why
I was going to ask you a question. If they can like isolate and get rid of a mice's ability to detect bitterness, and then its other tastes are heightened, could you theoretically do the same to humans?
I don't see why not.
So say if you've got like a fair bit of money and you're like, oh, I don't like the taste of this food because it's too bitter. Could you go to a surgeon and say, can you remove this for me? And then you'd like basically any food.
What, and have some sort of a series of therapies done where your sense of the taste of bitterness would just bugger off?
Yeah, where they would like slowly introduce it and then you just don't know, basically.
I think you possibly could, but to be honest, why the hell would you want to spend all that money on something like that? Just if you got that much money, employ a taster. Is that bitter? Yeah, right. Not fucking having that.
Is it poisoned?
Is it But
He's just having a nap. It's fine.
So I'd say you could, but I mean, it would be more definitely beneficial for people who've been on very intense chemo and stuff like that, where it does destroy all that sort of stuff. I mean, although the 2 lots I had were quite mild, I mean, it's taken me about 15 years to get my immune system back up, hasn't it? And my sense of taste a few years up until a few years ago was terrible. What Swain said?
There's an experiment where you eat one flavour of
Christ. And smell
a different flavour. You end up tasting the one you're smelling. Yeah. They
I know what you mean.
In school they used to do that to us as well. They wouldn't do it to us, they did it to the other years. Where they'd be like, oh, eat this, and then if you keep smelling one flavour of anything eat like salt and vinegar, you end up just tasting what you're smelling. Because like 90% of taste is smell? Something like that.
That's right. Well, I would imagine that if you're eating one flavour of Christ, then it would be pretty woody flavour, with a hint of loincloth. I don't know, but definitely.
No, it would taste like bread and wine. Get it right.
Bread and wine. Maybe a bit fishy.
If your Christ is fishy, it's gone off and you need to get a new one, okay?
Well, that's just a loincloth. Anyway, right, number one. In at number one. And it's the last one. We'll do it in the other list next week. This is time measurement. Right. Animals can tell time. When an animal is waiting, a group of recently discovered neurons turn on like a clock. Daniel Dombeck, the leader of research conducted at Northwestern University, said that his team's findings show that dogs, like other animals, have an explicit representation of time in their brains. Our dogs. Have you met our dog? Have you met? Look, hang on. This is our dog. Can you see her? Umphed on the sofa. Yeah. Her representation of time is nap time, poo time, or chow time. That's it.
Do you want to get rid of the comment because it's cutting off half the screen?
Here you go. Nap time, poo time, or chow time.
Well, I've always thought that dogs do that because do you remember when I used to say that the boys have a bedtime?
Yeah,
And they
and
still
then
have a bedtime. Around 8 or 9, they'll go to bed.
I tell you what, before I carry on talking about this one, don't worry, Wayne. We knew it was Chris. I was just taking the Mickey, mate. You're not weird, like. One of the things we've got a rescue kitten, Yoda, as you may see him occasionally when you see his black thing go. He knows when it's bedtime, doesn't he? Like he'll know and it's me. If I start heading up the stairs to bed, he's there and he sits on the bottom step and looks at me until I come up and I'm like bedtime, and he'll follow me upstairs and get on top of the bed. Anyway, they have an explicit representation of time in their brains, by which they're able to measure a time interval. That's how pet dogs know whether their caretakers are behind schedule and feeding them. That Dad explained. That's what I said. She knows when it's food time, poo time, or sleep time. Dombeck's knowledge that the temporal lobe of the brain encodes spatial information in episodic memories led him to hypothesize that the lobe might also be responsible for encoding time. Fellow doctor in his laboratory explained every memory has two common elements, space and time. Since memories occur in a particular environment and are always structured in time. That's his hypothesis. Dombeck and his team built an actual treadmill in a virtual reality environment. Whoa, dogs with VR goggles. This is even better. It's a mouse with VR goggles. Through which a mouse ran down a hallway to a door halfway down the track. 6 seconds after the mouse arrives at the door opens, admitting the rodent to a waiting reward. The physical door was later replaced by an invisible door in the virtual reality scenario, and various cues alerted the mouse to the whereabouts of the invisible door. But in repeated tests, the animal still waited 6 seconds before continuing down the track to get its reward. With the mouse hooked up to a brain imaging apparatus, Dombeck and his colleagues monitored its brain activity and found that neurons related to spatial encoding fired as the mouse ran towards the invisible door, but turned off when it reached the door, and that a new set of timing cells were activated instead. That's quite cool. This is a big surprise and a new discovery, Dombeck said. One of the potential applications of this team's research might be new early detection tests for Alzheimer's, that's brilliant, in which people suspected of having the disease would be asked to judge how much time had elapsed or ask them to navigate a virtual reality environment. I think
that's really cool.
Really, really cool. That. Yes, I like that. I had a vision of a mouse with a VR helmet.
Same.
Oh, that is so cool! There you have it. That was the top 10 newly discovered abilities that animals have, and that number 1, I think, is brilliant, especially if it can be put in towards people with Alzheimer's. What are you doing, young lady? What is he doing behind the camera?
Calvin's creeping like he's seen a kid.
Okay, this is Taylor's other half's brother, Calvin, who is behind the camera doing nefarious things.
Showing me his Pokemon. Oh, Calvin, put it away.
We don't need to see his Pikachu on it. Or his licky tongue. We really don't. Anyway, it is now 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
And we managed to get through that one without tripping over too many words. And I'm glad we saw young Finley. Is Finley still there?
No, he got taken away because Tanya changed his nappy and then he was like, you know what? So she took it.
Just like you when you woke up at 7:30.
Yeah, because I was up all night. Judge me all you want, I don't care.
Because my little daughter Wibbly Pig. My little daughter Wibbly Pig here. That was her nickname. Is a bit grumpy when she's not had a lot of sleep.
Or food.
If you look at the colour of the hair, it might give you the game, or it might give the game right. She could be a tad grumpy.
I'm blonde.
That ain't blonde, love. Oh, sorry, are you strawberry
blonde.
blonde? You are ginger. You are a redhead, and you get it from me.
Do you know what happened? Again, for the second time, we're walking the boys. A complete stranger walks up and goes, "He's not a full pug, is he?" To Obi, "He's not a full pug,
Obi is
is
a full
he?" And we were like, "Yeah, he is." She was like, "Well, he's bigger." No, he's not. No, he's not. Because the funny thing is, when you have a pug cross, they tend to be smaller. So Chewie's quite small. And Obi just happens to be the size of a normal pug, but not fat, because, we don't let him eat as much as if we let him eat, he'd eat.
Oh, if Obi had his way, he would be a beanbag with little tiny stubby legs.
But just a word to people out there: if you see pugs walking across the street, just say hello. Don't question. Because the owner, I guarantee, have got, like that woman. There was a woman in Pets at Home. We were walking the boys. We were trying to find them for their birthday. We got them harnesses. But yeah, we were walking them around, looking at the fish and stuff. Woman walks up with a bunch of kids during COVID and was like, "Can they stroke them?" We were like, yeah, sure. Well, first of all, the kids were like trying to creep over, so we were trying to move the boys away because it was really annoying. And then she said, "Oh, can they stroke him?" And we were like, "Yeah, sure, fine." And she went, "He's not a real pug, is he?" And yes, he is. No, he's not. He's not a full pug. Is he yours? Did you buy him?
Was that Chewy she
Walked
was
away.
on about? Or Obi?
No, Obi.
Obi is a full pug with huge ears. Chewy is 7/8 pug and 1/8 Jack Russell. Hence, he looks like a small pug with tiny ears.
But everyone says,
And
"Oh, Chewie's a real pug, but Obi's not." And it's like,
this, ladies and gentlemen, is a disgruntled pug owner with red hair and lack of sleep called Wibbly Pig.
Wibbly pug.
Wibbly Pug. Right. We will be back on Friday with Mr. Wayne, who is in the chat room, and we'll be talking all things German and the Nazis and their experimental stuff that they did with the paranormal department of the SS.
I was gonna say you're not gonna mention the like actual experiments, are you?
No. Just the same. The Japanese had an experimental section as well, and I'm well read up on that, and it was horrific. And I will never ever bring those two places up on any of the shows because
No.
it's not fair on the people that passed. But we can talk about Himmler and his search for all things paranormal in the paranormal wing of the SS.
He's living on the moon.
Funny enough, Wayne and I were talking about that on the show about the Nazis supposedly being on the moon because we were talking about Die Glocke. And then before we finished, Wayne said, "Why don't we do all the rest of the stuff that they did?" So it's like, yes, brilliant idea. So we're going to do that. Yeah, no. Even Wayne has said, there you go. Even Wayne has said we won't be mentioning those things. Yeah, like I said, I've read up on a lot of their stuff, and it was
A very, I mean, not very, a grey area,
Well, the Japanese were just what they did was sick. End of it was sick. I'm not saying the Japanese people as a whole. What they did during the Second World War in the experimental section, what that section of them did was disgusting. Same with the Nazis. What their experiments were and involved, disgusting. So, as I say,
that's all that needs to be said, really.
Yeah, we won't mention them because it's just not fair on the people who pass. But we will talk about all the paranormal stuff that the Germans got up to. Okay.
Sounds exciting.
But do not mention the bar. Oh, shouldn't I have said that?
Activated.
Right. On that note, everybody, thank you very much for listening. Remember, we'll be back on Friday at 9 p.m. with the Dark Mirror Radio Show. And then we'll be back with this show, the Dark Mirror Radio Show's little brother, the Rearview Mirror, which is myself and my daughter Taylor there. We'll be back on Sunday night at 9 p.m. So Friday night, the Dark Mirror Radio Show with myself and Mr. Wayne Seddon. And then Sunday night, myself and Mr. Taylor with the Rearview Mirror. And we will have more top 10 lists Do you want me to choose the top 10 list for Sunday?
Well, we've still got that one left.
Okay, well, we can do that, and you pick a paranormal one. Yeah?
I'll try. I can't find any.
And, ladies and gentlemen, this young lady here is hopefully going to be doing a new picture, because we don't have a picture yet for the rearview mirror. We've had for the Dark Mirror radio show, and it's an awesome one.
Do you know what? Do you want to know what I'm going to do?
What?
I'm going to do a photo of someone's rearview mirror. I'm going to put like almost
UFO.
completely translucent ghost in the mirror.
I look forward to seeing it. So there you have it. We will be having an awesome picture up soon, hopefully, for the rearview mirror as well. So on that note,
send me a photo of your rearview mirror, and then it can be like, oh wow, that's bad.
All right, I'll go out to the car in a minute and I'll take a photo of it.
In the daylight, please.
Oh, you want it in daylight? All right. Message me, remind me in the morning, and I'll do it when I come back from work.
Or it at dark. It depends, because dark is more spooky, isn't it? I guess so.
Well, if it's spooky, you can either have a ghost or you can have a UFO taking off.
I can put ghost in it.
The paranormal German Shepherd over there, the white one. What, sitting inside the UFO with her head hanging out, going, yeah. Okay, right. I digress completely. I will see you guys on Friday, and I look forward to the picture. So it's good night from me, good night, and it's good night from her.
Good night.
And my grandson Finley, who is downstairs. If you listen carefully, good night. There you go. See you later. Night, Wayne. Wayne says night, case.
Night.